The Llamasoft cartridge for Evercade is our most packed cartridge to date, with 27 games to play spanning several different classic home computer formats. These games were originally composed by one of the first great independent developers, Jeff Minter of Llamasoft, who got his start programming while he was still at school amid the arcade boom of the late 70s and early 80s, and is still working alongside his partner, Giles Goat Zorzin, to make new games to this day. This collection encompasses a significant portion of Llamasoft's output across the 8-bit and 16-bit home computers of the 1980s, and showcases how Minter's talents evolved from simple recreations of arcade classics to highly creative, psychedelic affairs that are absolutely unmistakable as his work. Where possible, we've included multiple versions of games to showcase how in many cases there were significant differences between the same game on different platforms. This is indicated by some games having an A or B after their title. In all instances, the A version was the first to be released, while the B version was a later port to another home computer platform. In total, there are 21 unique games to play and 27 in total, including the multiple versions of some titles. We've got a lot to look at today, so strap yourself in, it's going to be a long one. We open with a concept Minter returned to numerous times over the course of his career, a simple game from 1981 about a bouncing ball. Your aim in Deflex V is simple: deflect the ball using bats so it hits numbered targets. You don't have any direct control over the ball, you can only place a diagonally oriented bat in one of two arrangements directly in front of the ball. When you do this, the ball will be deflected through 90 degrees in the relevant direction, and the bat will reverse its orientation. As you play, the playfield will become more and more cluttered with bats, so you'll need to master the effects of the bats on the balls when you place them, and place them strategically in order to be able to reach tricky targets. Hailing from 1982, City Bomb is Jeff Minter's homage to a classic home computer game known as Blitz, which was in turn inspired by Atari's classic arcade and console game Canyon Bomber. On its original release, the game had satirical elements speaking out against the Falklands War, but after complaints to publications that had run adverts for the game, Minter relented and depoliticized it. Your aim in City Bomb is simple. Your plane is gradually descending, and you need to flatten it to a suitable landing strip by bombing abandoned buildings beneath you. Succeed, and you live to bomb another day. Fail, and pow goes your plane. Beginning life as an homage to the classic arcade game Defender, going by the legally distinct name Defender with an A, this early Llamasoft shoot-'em-up was rebranded after an American publisher took interest in the game and decided it would be less troublesome to rename it Aggressor. When this happened, Minter took the opportunity to tweak the UK version too, replacing the original game's humanoids with llamas and giving it the new name we have here. The result was Andy's Attack, one of the first games to feature some of Minter's favourite beasties. In Ratman, your task is to bop falling rats on the head with a hammer while watching out for the devil rats that appear if they successfully make it through a hole in the floor. On its original release, Ratman was only available for a short period, making it one of the rarest Llamasoft games out there. As the name suggests, 1982's Super Deflex builds on the foundation established in Deflex V. The basic concept is still the same, but now you are bouncing Sid the Silly Space Invader around the screen, and later levels introduce new hazards such as immovable barriers, lasers, landmines, and a nefarious droid named Grud. You have a friendly llama on your side this time at least, who will clear the screen if things get a bit too hectic. Also hailing from 1982, a productive year for Llamasoft, is Abductor, a simple but compelling shoot-'em-up about blasting invading aliens that are attempting to abduct your humanoids. If you survive long enough, you can upgrade your laser cannon to a double stage cannon with extra firepower, but you better watch out as this also makes you a bigger target. Grid Runner is one of Llamasoft's most famous games, and there are two versions of it to enjoy on the Llamasoft Collection for Evercade. Both provide frantic blasting action as you attempt to destroy the relentless droid forces that are advancing down the grid and avoid the deadly X and Y zappers. The higher resolution visuals of version B provide a markedly different feel to the chunky graphics of version A, so be sure to try both and see which you prefer. In Attack of the Mutant Camels from 1983, your task is simple. Save the Earth from 90-foot high, laser-spitting, neutronium-shielded death camels. This game is about nimbly manoeuvring a tiny spaceship to defeat large enemies while avoiding their deadly attacks. Between stages, you'll have to safely complete a transector hyperspace jump by avoiding rockets. The action never lets up. Laser Zone is an example of how creative Jeff Minter often was when developing new games. In this particularly frantic entry from his back catalogue, he presents an interesting twist on the shoot 'em up by providing you with two laser cannons to control at once, one of which moves on the X-axis, the other on the Y-axis. You'll need to master moving them together in order to defeat the incoming enemies. Like Grid Runner, there are two versions of this game on the cartridge, with version A providing action for a single player, and version B offering more detailed visuals and the opportunity for up to 4 players to participate, operating in teams of 2. Matrix Grid Runner 2 builds on the Grid Runner formula with more varied levels, many of which contain surprising special features and references to Llamasoft's other games. As with several other games in this collection, you can enjoy 2 different versions of Matrix Grid Runner 2 on Evercade, the original chunky visuals version or a subsequent port with high resolution graphics and a larger play area. In Hover Bother, we take a break from alien blasting for that most summary of pursuits, mowing the lawn. Playing as Gordon Bennett, a man whose mower is broken, you must borrow your neighbour's lawnmowers and then mow your way through as many lawns as you can before either your neighbour or the gardener catches you. Your dog, Rover, will assist you in this task, but only for as long as he can put up with the sound of the mower. Probably Llamasoft's most spectacularly titled game, Metagalactic Llama's Battle at the Edge of Time is a simple arcade-style affair in which you control a laser-spitting llama and must defeat incoming robot spiders. You can only fire diagonally, so you must reflect your shots off the planar field in order to hit your enemies. There are 2 versions of Metagalactic Llama's Battle at the Edge of Time on this Evercade cartridge, so be sure to try both and see which is your favourite. They're back, and this time you're in control of them. Take command of a 90-foot high laser-spitting neutronium-shielded death camel of your very own and blast your way through a series of bizarre enemies. This Evercade collection includes both the 1983 8-bit original version of Revenge of the Mutant Camels, plus the 16-bit port from 1992, the latter of which includes numerous enhancements and special features, including a simultaneous 2-player mode and collectible power-up icons. This 1984 follow-up to Laser Zone operates on the same principle: blast enemies by controlling multiple laser cannons at the same time. This time around, you have 4. You'll need to master how they move in relation to one another in order to succeed in this one, as well as taking care not to overheat your lasers with overuse. This Evercade cartridge contains 2 versions of Hellgate, so try them both and pick your favourite. In Sheep in Space, you must control your genetically modified multi-shielded combat sheepoid in battle against the Zyzaxian Empire, who are attempting to charge up their planet busters and destroy humanity's supply modules in orbit around the neutron star Sothis B. This game tasks you with blasting enemies using your dog biscuits of doom, which are affected by the gravitational pull of the supply module's 2 surfaces, as well as managing your sheep's hunger level. It's one of Llamasoft's best, most unusual games, and well worth spending some time getting to grips with, even if it might seem complex at first. Jeff Minter turned his attention to the action-adventure genre with Ancipital, a game in which you control a goat-like creature making its way through a maze of 100 rooms. Each room has its own enemy formations and method of breaking the walls to access other areas, so you'll need to use your brain as well as your fire button finger. This is a tricky game, but immensely rewarding to solve, one room at a time. Battlex is one of Llamasoft's most interesting games in that it's actually 5 games in one. To complete the game, you must earn completion tokens from 5 different sub-games, including a quasi-sequel to Attack of the Mutant Camels, that you can switch between at any point. Each sub-game is very different from the last, so you'll need to demonstrate both arcade skills and intelligence to attain victory in this one. And when it all gets a bit much, you can also play with a cut-down version of Psychedelia, Jeff Minter's first light synthesizer, and the origin point of today's music visualizers. Void Runner is the follow-up to Matrix 2 Grid Runner and adds a new twist to the gameplay. Now, instead of controlling just one ship, you have multiple to command. The formation in which they fly and fire varies from stage to stage, so you have to adapt your tactics according to the incoming enemies and the arrangement of your ships. This is a colourful, frantic shooter that exemplifies what Llamasoft has always been about. In Revenge of the Mutant Camels 2, you once again take command of the 90-foot high, laser-spitting, neutronium-shielded death camels as you fight to obliterate everything from alien invaders to British phone boxes and defunct credit cards. Unlike its predecessor, Revenge 2 offers non-linear progression, allowing you to pick what order you take on the levels, as well as a purchasable power-up system where you can buff up your camel's capabilities with credits earned in each level. One of a few 16-bit home computer games by Jeff Minter, Super Grid Runner is an evolution of the Grid Runner formula, featuring spectacular colour effects, intricate enemy waves, interesting mechanics, and a wicked sense of humour. This fast action blast is one of Llamasoft's best, and it plays great on Evercade. Finally, we come to one of Llamasoft's most famous games, Jeff Minter's 16-bit take on the classic twin-stick shooter arcade formula. In Llamatron 2112, you take command of a laser-spitting llama on a quest to save their furry friends from deadly brain monsters by battling through 100 waves of action, destroying the dreaded Aldrich tentacle and making it to herd heaven. Vivid colour effects and a chaotic, noisy digitised soundscape make this an intense blastathon that plays great on Evercade. The Llamasoft Collection is available for Evercade from November 2025. Find out more on the official website.